26 is coming Saturday night. So you can always tell me the size. Don't give it a sign, so yeah, you're right. I've got to do sunshine in Canada.
Make your point time.
Live and running.
Oh, that's right. Yes, 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 I remember now. Yes, that's right. Okay, well, welcome everyone. The welcome will be quick since we're starting just a touch late. Apologize for. We have instant pain and travel between some of our meetings. So again, welcome everyone. As we consider the agenda, first out is the traditional approval of the minutes. So is there any discussion or do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chair, I would move that we approve the minutes.
Thank you.
I would second the motion.
Wonderful. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor of approving the minutes? Aye, please.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes pass. Okay, so we're considering giving President Flanders approval to execute a contract in accord with our policies. Gage can take us through that.
Yes, sir. This is a research contract with the University of Kansas. The purpose of the project is to perform design-based implementation research for our Blueprint for Literacy program that Region Lane is, or former Region Lane is directing in conjunction with the Literacy Advisory Committee that Senate bill that passed last year. The total cost of this research will be capped at $616,000. It will be spent through September 30, 2027. And it's a reimbursement contract. And so the plan is that up to that cap, the board would be reimbursing the KU researchers for their labor as they work through this project.
And I would just add that, and then Kelly Oliver, who works more directly with the program, could also add detail. KU has expertise in this area, and so that's why the council is seeking and passion. Yeah, but more so expertise. So, Kelly, did you want to add anything?
No, just that this research center does have expertise directly with working with schools and being in the classroom and looking at the data that we'll be looking at. It's something that they've been working on. So
The state's purchasing agency has reviewed the contract and approved the agency spending as well.
And so no dispute about expertise, but many places would say they have additionally I have expertise. So did we do a bid process or how do we arrive at the?
Can I ask one question before that?
Please.
Are we supposed to be using this mic for people to hear us or are we okay?
nope, we're good.
Okay, great.
Okay, so
Solo there.
would you talk about process with the council?
Yes, so we did not do a bid process, but it was through the advisory committee that chose.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't say bid. I'm not really suggesting formality, but
We have six
if other people, when everybody think they had a chance.
I don't know that I can necessarily say that it was asked of every university to look at this. I know that the advisory committee spoke with KU and others. I don't know which ones to come about choosing KU as the lead.
Mr. Chairman, I know it's my understanding that all of our institutions are involved in the Blueprint for Literacy
They are.
in some way. Could you maybe provide some background on how some of our other institutions are a part of this process as well?
So the advisory committee is made up of several members. And so some of the members are appointed by the research universities, the regional universities, and then there are other members that are appointed just by Director Lane to this committee. In that process as well, there are literacy experts from each of our public universities, from including Washburn. So we have 7 literacy experts that are working to create content for the credential that is being developed and the courses that are being developed in literacy. In addition, so a couple weeks ago, each of the universities have submitted proposals to be a center, so a center of excellence in literacy. Each of the public universities have submitted that proposal. Dr. Lane will talk to you this afternoon about those proposals and a plan that the advisory committee is bringing to you. She's just going to kind of do a first read this month to you, because next month we'll have the final plan from the committee. So each of the universities are involved in that process, and at this point, it is intended that each public university will be designated with a center of excellence.
Thank you.
This makes us make motion.
Sure, of course I am.
I motion to approve this.
Second.
Okay. Right, before we vote, I would just say, I do think, given we're a close-knit operation, it would be helpful to make sure the others understand what's about to be awarded and happen before they just hear somewhere.
I think that's good advice.
And again, we know Kay's got expertise, so incredibly likely that everyone understands that, but just let's make sure. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Kelly, would you expect any protests? Do we need to slow down?
I know that the advisory committee is aware of this. They've talked about contracting with them, but I will, I don't expect that, but.
I would guess not. I mean, but sometimes there's meetings with a group.
Right.
And they arrive at a reasonable conclusion, and maybe then there's not full communication in other places. So it just.
I will just, could I add one more thing, is that I do know Dr. Lane meets regularly with our education deans, and they talk about a variety of topics, which this is one of them as well. So I know that they should be aware of that.
Again, I think their expectation is wonderfully communicated. It's just, I'd rather have a conversation a million times than
Right.
this one we need to have. So,
Yeah, we can sure do that.
okay, all right. So with that, any other discussion? All right, so hearing none, all in favor, aye, please. How you opposed? All right, thank you. So that takes us to the campus security, and safety reports, right? Yes, safety and security reports. It's fitting that we're doing Kansas State while we're at Kansas State, so. You guys, if you consider. We're Chief.
Hey, Chief, guys are good. Good to see you, man. You're good.
Be nice.
Are you kidding? We feel really safe. We feel really safe. Gosh, you have to sit there with that bright light in your eye. I mean, wow.
I'm looking like I'm gonna be interrogated.
Yeah, no kidding. That's exactly what I was thinking. Floor's yours.
First of all, I'd like to say good morning, to the committee. Glad to have you here about Kevin this week for how many days you'll be at the university. When we met at this time last year, the university, with the direction of VP Erickson, had an initiative to do a campus-wide camera system. Simple fact is that we have like 25 or 30 different systems on campus. So we went through the RFP process last year. So at this time, as of yesterday, we have installed 111 cameras across campus, and also 11 at the Solana campus. We went with the Carter system, which is a very good system, and Bradley County was so impressed with it, they have installed a system in Aggregate. And then we assist Raleigh County at closing bars at 2 o'clock in the morning. So we have that system that's been expanded. Also, VP Harrison had a dream of a hard access system. So right now, with any major renovation or new construction, a system that's been installed into the buildings. But right now, the School of Education is our beta site. It is now online. We have School of Business is in the query, and hopefully we will have 8 other buildings in the near future coming online with that system. Also, we had no weapons violation. We have no request for restricted access, and no ASMs. Now, if women's basketball continue to be successful like they are, we will have to implement ASM at Brandon Coliseum for women's basketball. Also, Associate VP Chance has instituted a position for camera and card access. So when that position is filled, that position will assume all of the responsibilities for the card and camera access system. Other than that,
So is there a level of attendance that requires automated measures?
yes, based on if it's an athletic event, if it's 5,000 or less, they don't use ASN. But if it's, we kind of like follow suit for KU, but their football has been doing really well, so they'll be used to too. But that was the threshold number. The threshold number is at 5,000. So if it's less than 5,000, we use ASN. But if there's some other event on campus, at the request, we can implement ASN, whether it's learning lecture or some major event.
Okay. All right, thanks. I wonder why it was some places I see it, some I wouldn't. So,
Well, that kind of, a couple of years ago, that came up kind of like a joke at one of these meetings. One of the members of the committee told the guys at KU that since they had less than 5,000 people at football, that was a good ratio number. So, but it was a joke.
I took it that you were trying to make a joke, but I thought the best thing to do was say it with it. So.
But other than that. That's all I have. So far, it's been a really good semester for us.
So I do, so the access system, what facilities would require an access system? I mean, every building or over time or?
The dream is to do all buildings on campus. But each building has a different level because of the doors. If you look at a building like Henderson Hall, those are older doors, so it's gonna probably take a little bit more to get that installed there. Whereas in Bluemont Hall, they went through a major renovation, so everything was implemented during the renovation. School of Business is in the next quarter because it's a new building. And it probably would take a lot less to install on their doors than it would some of the buildings with the older doors.
Okay, understood.
And
Regionalized, just
Yeah.
real quick, we've had a history of about, I think, 8 or 9 different access systems in place across the institution in different pockets. So College of Business was a different one than Housing and Dining was. So the goal would be to get all those transitioned over and also put in access control on a lot of the buildings Anderson Hall's never had. So trying to make sure that we're providing that access and control across the campus ultimately for all the buildings.
Good. Understood.
Yeah.
I was curious about scope because
It's,
there's a lot.
we're trying to get to everybody.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's
so,
gonna take a while, it's expensive, but
okay,
so, but right now, we do have access, the police department does have access to probably 90% of the cameras on campus, including student life, which has probably about 350. And the goal is that once a policy is put in place, we want to get everybody on one system. So what will happen is once the policy is in place, once your old system or your system server dies, you have no choice but to go on to the new system. And it's a lot easier for us to maintain or to view one system in 25 different systems. There are some systems that people went to Radio Shack in. We can't do anything with those, so we have to wait until those servers die, then we just bring them on board and make it part of the overall university plan.
okay, thank you. All right, again, thanks for the update. Thanks for what you did, Peter.
All right, so Title IX kind of updates and summary, kind of go through those. Our K-State hosted the K-Board Title IX summer training this summer out at the football stadium. And so we had all of the Border Region schools and some community colleges and a couple privates that did attend that. We had the updates with the new Title IX legislation that is currently in a stay in the state of Kansas. And so with that, we took an opportunity this summer to pull together a work group and pull together some changes and revisions to the policy that will keep us in line with the current 2020 regulations. So we're making some adjustments with our training and outreach. So we will be putting that out and moving all of our staff to responsible employees just for clarity for them. We continue to see an increase in reports. We also are doing a lot more outreach than we were. Each year, we're increasing our outreach to different groups and just the training that we have available. We had our two top areas that we investigated and got reports on this year were stalking, mostly started in electronic format, social media, and then sexual assault. We had 4 live hearings that we went through and investigated with conclusions at this point. 2 responsible, 2 not responsible. And we continue to use the Kansas Office of Administrative Hearings as our hearing officers there. And then we connected more students, staff, and guests who were impacted by Title IX issues to resources and other kind of support measures than previous years and continue to increase that scope. And so just really working on doing more outreach with our student groups, whether that be ROTC, marching band, our fraternity and sorority community, kind of what that looks like, and trying to do as much education as we can. And just really helping people understand what the reporting process looks like and how to get people to those resources. So.
Questions?
I have a comment.
Please.
I thank you for organizing that activity in the system and as changes might come with Title IX or some of those regulations, let us know how we can help and assist to make sure that communication goes across our entire system. Thanks for your leadership.
Okay, Chief.
I need to add also, about a week and a half ago, we had our active violence tabletop exercise in Dole Hall. And it was attended by the administration, emergency services, Fort Raleigh. And we found some areas that we need to improve on, but it was a 4-hour tabletop exercise and it really went well.
At BSF, we did those for security. We always call those successful failures.
Yeah.
We learned something.
We put quite a few items on the parking lot. And those are items that we can actually look at and work on. So it went well and President Lee and his staff, and everybody it was really well put together, and thank Brandon for bringing in an outside source to lead us through it. So it was pretty good. It went well.
Great. Okay, well, thank you both. We appreciate what you do very much. It's incredibly important. So thanks for the update. Ron, you've got the next item?
Yes, sir.
The addendum to the conflict of interest work.
Yes, sir. So this is the last page of your materials, attachment 3, page 5. In accordance with board policy, we've had one regent who has disclosed service on a board that has a contract relationship with an institution that's governed by the board of regents. So Regent Johnston has reported that she serves on the board of directors for the Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas, which is a federally qualified health center and a public nonprofit healthcare organization that receives federal funding under Section 330 of the Public Health Services Act. Regent Johnson has served on that board since December of 23, and the organization provides student healthcare services for Pittsburgh State University. So we've reviewed that, and staff recommends directing Regent Johnson not to participate on behalf of the board in matters involving or related to any contract or transaction between community health centers of Southeast Kansas and Pittsburgh State University, and to otherwise take appropriate action to manage or remedy any conflict.
Questions or comments? Sure. Okay.
We need to vote to.
I was about to ask him that. Do we need to vote on that? Assume we
The
do.
recommendation to the board, and then we'll have it on the board.
Okay, so we don't need to vote because it's a recommendation.
No, we need to vote.
I'm sorry.
All right, okay, is there a motion?
So move.
Thank you. Second. Thank you. All in favor, aye, please.
Aye.
And then let's contemplate whatever follow we need to do so that we get everything in. I know there was at least one thing added at the board meeting as well, so.
I think the thing that I was planning to do this year is work one-on-one with each regent prior to the retreat. So I was gonna reach out individually and talk.
I think, I know that's a little more work for you, but I think that's appropriate. And if anything needs to make sure it's stand scrutiny, it's conflict of interest statements. So thank you. All right, and then as a write-in, we of course have had a couple conversations about compensation for our leaders. We agreed we're going to do an RFP. It is on the street. I believe it closes this week. So we should start to have some conversation with the successful advisor as we move forward. So that should happen soon.
Have any idea what the timeline will look like for that?
We do have a timeline I'll send.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we need what they're gonna do in a couple months, really, most likely. So we may have to tell them, here's the deadline, we have to plan. If it's that.
I think that it's gonna be more like not how much time do you need, but here's how much time you've got.
Right, because
You know, and
sometimes it's appropriate to tell people a deadline and
they'll build it.
Sure. Okay, all right, anything else before the group? Okay, all right.
Efficient meeting, sir.
Well, there you go. Pretty good. You only give me as much as I can handle. Okay, all right, we